This is my review on 2008's release of the Dark Knight movie, the second installment in the Nolan trilogy of Batman. Now, this one is also, much like, you know how I mentioned in my last review, that I made on the Dark Knight Rises, where I mentioned that, Frank Miller's Batman, The Dark Knight Returns, is a loose, is based on, wait, I got confused with my words again, so I erased that. What I said, scratch that, is, I meant to say The Dark Knight is a loose adaptation on Frank Miller's Batman, The Long Halloween, The Dark Knight Rises. The Dark Knight, on the other hand, is been known well, at least, well, I only found this out because saw the movie and I saw where the comparison was to the Halloween. And then I saw this video called Jeremy Johnson that reviewed The Dark Knight. Then that's how I found that out. Okay. So on and so on. So, Batman: The Long Halloween is basically what this movie is based around on. You know, involving the similar ideas, and but it's not a very faithful adaptation when I say loose adaptation. And when I say loose adaptation, I don't mean like the Mila Jovovich Resident Evil's movies loose adaptation. I mean more faithful than that, though. At least, you know? It's just, when I say loose adaptation, it doesn't take the story identically, fundamentally, exactly. It sort of like deconstructs the idea that was kind of presented in The Long Halloween within the three-act structure of The Dark Knight, and uses those story elements to forward the Dark Knight movie plot, while telling a coherent story, simultaneously telling a brand new Batman story. It's just a little generic in some cases, like with the ideas that he deal with Two-Face and the Joker and how they pull them off, and versus the execution versus the idea of the execution. So, what I'm trying to say is this is also, much like The Dark Knight Rises, a bit of a mixed bag for me in the final product is, even though it's a solid 10 out of 10 for me. Because I feel like this movie overstays its welcome after a certain point and doesn't end when it should end. Like, and I feel like a big reason why that, I feel like this movie feels like unnecessarily long at times once Two-Face gets introduced into the picture of the movie. Once Harvey gets burnt half alive, and, well, then, takes the look of Two-Face. You know, he doesn't take on the identity of Two-Face at all. He still goes by Harvey Dent. And on a revenge streak on for his love of his life that got murdered by the Joker. But somehow Joker uses reverse psychology, mind manipulation, bullcrap, and Harvey falls for it easily. And doesn't see through the act. And just shoots the motherfucker in the head. He does not. He lets him live and goes to find the person that ratted him out to kill that person, wanting to spare that person's life, who's later revealed Ray Montoya. Ray Montoya. Wait a minute, isn't that the chick that helped Batman out in the Batman animated series called The Batman. Is that the same call that would help Batman out before Commissioner Gordon did in the Batman series, cartoon series from 2000? I think so. I think those characters have the same name. I'm remembering wrong, maybe. I'm not sure. Just telling myself now. Blah, blah, blah. So, Ramesh Montoya is just off the hook and lives another day. And so Harvey goes to punish Gordon and his family. For some reason. Don't know why. But he blames Gordon instead of the Joker for Rachel's death. By a course. And also, I might have thought that was a little weird how, like, Batman said to Jim Gordon how he was going to go after Rachel, and instead going after and arriving at Harvey's location and saving him instead of Rachel. And, you know, the police go after Dent and they arrive at the same location, so nobody goes after Rachel? Why? And Joker gives Batman the right location, and obviously he just changes his mind and doesn't tell anybody that he's not going to get Rachel. That he's not getting Rachel and just Dent instead. So the police don't go after Rachel, they go after Dent. It's because Batman lied, so it changes his mind, I don't know why. Not explained ever in this movie, or in the third installment at all. That confused plot hole I found confusing. Still to this day, nobody brings that up. Don't know why. Christian Bale gives a once again tolerable performance, but nothing groundbreaking or nothing to remember. Lives a good impersonation in your head. His impersonation of Batman in this movie, it's a little dull. It's not bad, but it's not as good as it was in Batman Begins. It doesn't cross authentically scale like it did in Batman Begins with his voice really overdoing it with the rest of the voice. Although I appreciated the first third installment, they toned it down a bit. Still didn't help. Wish we could have gotten the raps that he had in Batman Begins. He should have kept that. It was fine in Batman Begins. He didn't have to change it. But he did. I mean, it was fine enough in Batman Begins, I thought. So, and Harvey Dent, unfortunately, is the main driving force of this movie in a way, because this is more of a Harvey Dent story than an actual Bruce Wayne or Batman story, characters-driven narrative. Because it really focuses on Harvey cleaning up Gotham, really making Gotham better, and pushing to Batman to inspiring Batman to retire and hang out the cowl, only to have Gotham's White Knight Harvey Dent fall, and Batman taking the fall for it to not damage in Harvey's reputation, so people don't lose faith in him, and also lose faith in Gotham. So instead of Batman wanting to take that burden that he can, publicly, he wants to take the crime for Joker's doing, basically instead of pinning on the Joker, Harvey's murderers, crimes. Right? I don't know. Okay, so the movie ends on this triumph of but it should have ended more of on a bitter note because the ending is very bittersweet. But it wants to be all triumphant at the end, which, I mean, that could have been one way to go, but it's like one of those movies that wants to do two type of different alternate endings. It wants to be triumphant, but also wants to be bittersweet. Why not just pick either one instead of doing both? I don't know. Once it gets to the final shot of the ending of the movie. You know, the whole monologue with what's going in while Batman's outrighting the cops at the end. That part, okay? I mean, not to say I don't really hate this movie. I kind of like this movie, actually. I have problems with it, okay? And I just can't know, even no matter how much I watch this movie, more than once amounts of time, so yeah. Finally, let's talk about the Joker. So the Joker is good when he's on film, but I felt like he was really underused in this movie. And I felt like this movie, really feel like this movie would have served its story better if it was the R-rated Batman movie with the Joker instead of PG-13. That way they could have really pushed the envelope of what to do with the Joker, like they do with Jack Nicholson's Joker, for the time. I felt like his violence was very tamed and clean, and I think that might have to do with the PG-13 rating of the film, because I don't know if I have no proof, or this is more of a guess, but I feel like the Dark Knight was originally meant to be a rated R movie, but it got cut down due to because the studio wanted to edit it down for not make it too long or something. That's just a guess of mine, but I could be wrong. Probably am. And Joker is definitely funny as ever as he was in live action, as he is ever during this. When this movie came out, Joker, I honestly think was there's some things I like. I think he did some things right with Joker, but I think he did some things wrong with the Joker. While I'm not a big fan of Heath Ledger's design on the Joker, from an aesthetic point, I prefer the comic Joker aesthetic, more intimidating and scary, and also more memorable and iconic to me. And I can't go wrong with it, can't beat it. So, that's my problem. It's just not as cool as the comic book Joker design. That's one of my problems with the design, and that's my only problem with the design. But then, I think for the world that Nolan built up and was working in, I think for this particular world, Joker turned out perfectly fine on an aesthetic look, based on a design point. Two-Face, not so much, because a person with that much skin loss shouldn't be walking around so easily or talking easily. And I don't know why he had to. Look, I appreciate the detail what they were trying to do with Two-Face by taking the comic book look from the comics and bringing it into our, but it's so not believable for me in this world that you're doing in this more grounded world Batman, It's just silly to me. And overstays is welcome, makes the movie drag on longer. Plus, once the Joker is captured, you think that's when the movie will end. And it does not. Because you didn't think you would actually see Batman take on Harvey Dent in the third act, but you do, and he's the final boss, not the Joker. So, Yeah. Now back to the Joker. Joker is as funny as he ever has been in live action. Once 2008's The Dark Knight came out, I mean, he's never been this more funny and iconically funny, like with his sick, crude humor. That's also childish at the same time, in a way. How he delivers his lines, and I'm glad they made the Joker funny in this. Okay, again, I think this was to say the funniest Joker out of all of them, and I think he has a lot better zingers than Jack Nicholson's Joker. That I appreciate. He kept the Joker's sense of humor. That I like. The pretty much nailed it on what his sense of humor was like in the comics. However, I felt like the kills, they should have showed the kills, and I felt like it kind of bothered me that they kept on cutting away. I mean, they did it because it's PG-13, but I think that only proves my point why this film would have worked better as an R-rated film, because they could have shown it. So, yeah. What do I think of Heath Ledger's voice as the Joker? I think it's fine. It's perfectly fine. The voice is perfectly fine and suits his version of the Joker well. However, this kind of has come a problem, I felt like. Has, because of this voice, I felt like because of Heath Ledger, Joker, there's been like a bit of a curse in the 2000s era when it came to depicting Joker. At least in cartoon media, with stuff sometimes, and like Batman Batman Under the Red Hood, and also Injustice series had a Joker that was trying to be Heath Ledger's Joker, and failing miserably at it. Now, I feel like most people don't understand why this Joker works versus why when other people, except for Joaquin Phoenix, who tries to do more calm, restrained talking Joker that's more soft-spoken, but still unhinged, it can come across as a bit on the nose and a bit like cringe when it's not done well, like Heath Ledger did it, okay? Or Joaquin Phoenix did it. Or even the guy on Gotham. The second Joker he played, not the first Joker he played. For those who've seen Gotham. The show, yeah, those are my problems with the movie. What I liked about the movie as a whole. So those are my thoughts. The story is very unambitious and a bit generic, but Heath Ledger's performance does give us some flavor of the generic bland story for this generic bland version of the character that was written so poorly, but exists so well by Heath Ledger's performance. He really did save this, in a way, this movie from being a dull fest. By his performance alone. Not necessarily by the script or any of the ideas that it's on, but his performance, yeah. And I think it's because Heath Ledger sounds like and looks like he's having fun in the role as the Joker, and looks like he's enjoying being the Joker. And that's how Joker should carry himself, like he likes being the Joker. And it's fun for him, you know? I think that's my biggest problem with the Joker and Batman Under the Red Hood and Young Justice. They never feel like they are genuinely enjoying themselves being this iconic villain, the Clown Prince of Crime, you know? That thinks highly of himself in most way. But that's the kind of charm what Joker is, you know? When you see him, you know, in action. That's how he's supposed to be, you know? He's not supposed to really take himself seriously. Like for example, like Heath Ledger's Joker didn't take himself seriously. He actually killed somebody while performing a magic trick with a pencil, and he used it as a joke when he introduced himself to the mob at first. That was funny and sick, but funny. Classic Joker. And the other Jokers didn't quite, carry that element of the character as well, after Heath Ledger. I'm talking about now was the other Jokers, the one they listed off. So, and I guess what bothers me the most about this movie is not really the movie itself, but the fan base that this has developed around Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker. Like, everyone is saying, oh, it's a dead-on accurate portrayal of the Joker, 100% from the comics. No, it's not. It's an Elseworld story portrayal of the Joker, the same way all the other Batmans before this Batman, including this Batman from Christian Bale's run and before Elseworld portrayal of Batman, because, he kills and lets people get killed. Unlike Batman the Comics, who normally doesn't do that. And the main continuity of comics, of DC Comics. Yes, Frank Miller's Batman did kill. But that's not in the main canon. So shut up! If you don't know what you're talking about. Please, for God's sakes, shut up, people. And those people that are up their asses category. People need to shut up about that, okay? All of this. The Batman needs to shut up, and they need to accept the fact that they are full-on functioning retards when it comes to Batman knowledge from comic books. Fuck. Because they never read shit. Or even bothered. Right? Yeah, so they need to shut up. I'm getting a little worked up now. That's my thoughts on The Dark Knight. It's a 10 out of 10. Goodbye, subscribe to my channel. This is my review on The Dark Knight. I'm Jake Allen Graham, and I hope you enjoy my review on The Dark Knight from 2008 movie. Goodbye.